In this video, we're going to be taking a look at creating another text design, but we're going to be doing it in two different programs because I want to better describe to you what is happening and why, especially when it comes to creating a rhinestone font, why the various different rhinestone programs don't give us the results that we ultimately want, and more importantly, how to use the tools here in EasyStone to get the results that we want. So, and this is another project that was brought up to us by someone brand new to EasyStone. They were just installed the demo, and they said, okay, this is what I want to create. Show me how to do it. And that is probably the biggest thing that you can do when you're deciding on any rhinestone software. Send the designs that you want to create to the various software vendors and say, show me how to do this. And if they show you how to do it and you're happy with the process, then you know you're making the right investment. If you're not happy with the process, then you must look on. Okay? So this is what they wanted to do. It's a very classic example, but one that is simple enough, I think, where you'll understand the challenges and maybe learn a little bit why the various rhinestone programs are giving us the results that they're giving us, but not results that we really want. Okay, so what they want to do is they want to create the word cheer. They want to just a basic font. So we're just going to use Arial Black for this example, and they want the cheer text to be 8 inches wide. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just set this cheer text to be 8 inches wide, or thereabouts. Doesn't have to be exact. But the cheer text is about 8 inches wide. Now, here's what they told me. A basic block font, the word cheer, show me how to fill these letters. I want the letters to be 3 stones wide. Okay, so how do you do that here in EasyStone? Well, first let me show you how you do it in another program. The results that we get just by clicking a magic button. I mean, we all want that magic button, right? You just click the button, bam, magic happens. But the reality is we're not going to get those results, those instant results of instant perfection. But so let me show you something. We're going to export this design to, I'll just call it CC. So we're going to be using a program called Hotfix Era. And I'm going to choose Open File. There's my CC design. Could not load. Okay, I know why. I have to convert my text to curves first. Then I can export CC. Then we'll go back to Hotfix. We'll import CC again. And voila, there's CC. Now we could go to the Layout tab. Yes, it's roughly 8 inches wide. So let's take a look at the one-hit wonder. There's a couple of different options here in Hotfix. So there's our cheer text here. We're going to go into the Convert to Hotfix. And in Hotfix, we have several different options as far as fill options go. Honestly, I've never used texture fill. I don't think I've ever really used variable density, maybe once. I've never used, well, I shouldn't say I've never used a grid fill. Once in a while. But usually, you're going to use grid fill, but most commonly radio fill. So let me show you what happens when we use radio fill. So we click on radio fill, and then I'm going to turn off my vectors, and I'm going to turn on 3D view here. Okay, so you can see this a little bit better. So you see the result that we get? To me, this is an ugly, ugly, ugly result. And it's not a dig on the software. The software is doing exactly what we told it to do. But the end result is not a great result. Now, watch in contrast, like, okay, if you take a look at the letter H, the letter E, right? These are not good results. These are not good letters. You can see we're missing stones here. And the rest of these stones, they're not lined up. Everything's all kind of giggity gang. You see that there? So these letters are not really that good. And what's going on with our letter C? Well, the letter C actually isn't that bad. And if we turn on our vectors, you're going to see this more specifically. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit and take a little closer look at our seat. So basically what we told the software to do is we told the software, hey, here's my vector, and you could see what it did. It plotted a stone on the edge all the way around. That's step one. Then what it does is say, okay, of the remaining space, how many stones can I fit based on the size of the stone and the spacing specified in the parameters here in the software. Okay, so when we click on a hotfix, this bead spacing, if I lowered my bead spacing, watch how the beads change. So if I lower my bead spacing, see there, see how it changes? Now that's a better result than what we had to begin with, right? It kind of did a pretty good job of filling it in. But that bead spacing is actually too close. I already know that. So we cannot have any closer bead spacing than 12. Because when we go to export the design, the stones would be overlapping. They don't appear to be overlapping here, but trust me, they would be overlapping. So at any rate, the point is, here, this existing vector was a little bit wider, so it'd be able to fit 4 stones. Here, it'd only be able to fit 3. Okay, so at some point where this gets narrower, it had to drop a stone. So that's why it doesn't look as consistent. So let me show you another alternative to this. Let's open up our object manager and just grab all of our hotfix and dump it. So we'll just go ahead and cut. All right. So let me show you an alternative that gives us a better result with certain letters, but not such a good result with other letters. So again, we'll select the whole word cheer. We're going to convert to hotfix, but this time we're going to use that grid option. And now you're going to see a very, very different result. So let me show you. So let's turn off our vectors here. So now look at the difference. Our letter H is a much cleaner result, isn't it? Everything lines up really nice. Our letter E is got a nice result. We've got 4 stones here vertically, and then horizontally we only have 3. Here we only have 2. But you can see we get a much better result with H and the E in grid. Now grid for our C is lousy, and grid for our R, to some people, that's, call it good enough. To me, I don't like this result. You can see here on the tail of our R, you know, it's kind of all squiggly, and it's just not as good as it could be. All right? So these are the default results that we get with hotfix. The point I want to make is really no matter what software we're using, when we're dealing with fonts, to get the results that we want to get, we're going to have to modify. We're going to have to tweak it. Where the difference is the tools that allow us to make those modifications that exist in the software, and then of course the explanation on how to use those tools. So let me show you how I would tackle the word cheer here inside CorelDRAW with EasyStone, and you'll kind of see how we go about things. Almost always, it's kind of backwards. It's completely backwards, but because of the way I design, you'll see why I do it the way I do it. So usually I start with a bitmap instead of a vector, almost 100% of the time. Rarely do I see any benefit in having a vector file of a given design. Like I said, I know that's completely backwards because most Rhinestone software, including EasyStone, says, hey, I want a vector, but I actually work backwards. So let me just show you. I'm going to just convert my cheer design, my cheer text to a vector, and then I'm just going to go into wireframe mode so we can see this perhaps a little bit better. All right, so what I would do is I would set my stone size. I would drop one single stone. I hit the escape key. So there's my stone. And then I position it here on my H, and then all I would do is just hit my up arrow. Okay, like so. Now what we could do, I'm going to hit my arrow over here just to show you that we could do this. I'm going to go ahead and say, let's set this steps to 10 and hit the down arrow, and it would just create 10 copies of that stone. So I mean, there's ways to do it where it's a little bit quicker. And then what I would do is I'd select these stones and then just hit the arrow over. See there? And then what I would do is I would delete the ones I don't need. So I just come in here and delete these and delete those. And now I think, well, that's a little bit too wide. So I just pick those up and move them over one. And yeah, we have stones on top of stones, but don't concern yourself with that. Not that big a deal. So then what I do is the same thing. I just go ahead and grab a swath of stones, copy it over, and then I take, remember we want 3 stones wide. So I just hit the over arrow. Now we have 1 extra stone width. So we'll go ahead and dispose of that. And then I just grab these from center to center. And then again, we want to grab 3 stones in the middle here. Now, you can see we only have 4 stones in the middle. Okay, so we need to make this a little bit taller to have the spacing that we need. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to select these stones and hold Alt Control and nudge these up 2. And then take this stone here. Let's lock our bitmap so we can't move it. And then I can grab just these stones. Now, if I grab these 3 stones in the middle, so there's 3 stones in the middle, then I should be able to hit that over arrow. Now, looks like we're actually 1 stone too high. So let's bring that back down. So we have 1 spacing in between our E. Now what we need to do is we need to just adjust our H so it has the same stone height. And here we have 4 stones. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have equal spacing on our H. We'll go ahead and select our E, make a duplicate of that, and then E's usually become R's as well. So we'll delete these stones that we don't need here, and then we have to make some decisions on how we're going to handle this part of the design. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to delete a couple of stones, something like that, and then we're going to kind of just connect the dots. So just grab our 3-point curve tool, and we're going to do something like this, I think. And then we're going to add stones. You can see how we added stones along that curve. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete that stone path. And then because it's only a couple of stones, I'd probably just come in here and rough in these stones here. Get it close, and then we can kind of modify and tweak once we get a little bit further along. And then again, I just come in here, same kind of thing, just rough these in. Shift P. There we go. So that takes care of the R. Now what are we going to do for our tail? Well, I'm going to just select these 3 stones, slide them over, and then we're going to use the Shift Add Stone function. And there's our tail. So we'll go ahead and delete stone paths there. Let's go back to enhanced mode so we can see this a little bit better. Sometimes what I'll do is when I get to a certain point in the design stage, I'll move it off of my source image, and then if I add a weed box around it, you can see a little bit better. So you can see how nice this result is looking. You see our R looks good, and our E and so forth. So everything looks really good. All we have left is our letter C. So what I would do there is I would drag down a guideline like so, right in the middle of the stone to get my height of my C. Then I would grab this tool, which is our 3-point ellipse tool, and drag out an ellipse like so. And then we'll go to our stone fill tab. We're going to island fill to the inside, just like so. And then I would select all of those and add stones. Okay, and then I would break the stones and dispose of the stones that I don't need. I guess we can go ahead and get rid of our stone paths. Let's go ahead and get rid of our bitmap. So there's our bitmap. and we'll add a weed box. So there is our word cheer. If I select the whole thing, you can see it's roughly 8 inches wide. It has each letter has 3 sets of stones, and the end result looks really nice and clean. Now, it did take us a little bit of work to get there. It wasn't a magic push button solution, but neither was hotfix. You know, we have a give and take there too. So, and with most programs, it's going to be that way. But the key thing is we have the tools here inside EasyStone to make the necessary modifications fairly quickly and easily. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight as to working with fonts, why we get the results that we get, and how to overcome those initial results and modify the design to get the exact results that we're looking for. Thanks for watching.